You're tuned in to Our NC Radio, your weekly update on everything Forsyth County. Join the conversation as we meet the leaders shaping our future and the issues that matter most to you. Stay connected every week as we dive into what makes our community tick. Welcome to episode 12 of Our NC Radio. I'm your host, David Hill. Thank you so much for joining me this fine morning, Monday morning. Fantastic. The weather this weekend, not so great. But we have a very packed show this week, and I'm excited to sit down with you. It's just going to be me this afternoon. We're going to be talking about some recent events that have happened within Forsyth County, definitely some town government type stuff that we want to talk about today. Lots of things to cover, and so I'm going to jump into it and kind of give you the updates as it pertains to most of the municipalities here within Forsyth County. There's several that I'm not going to cover today just for the sake of time. However, I will try to work those in as well. A little bit of housekeeping. If you are new to the show, thank you so much for joining me. RNC Radio is a passion project of mine. I am a stay-at-home dad, father of a 2-year-old little girl, and the reason I started this podcast is basically just to report on what's happening within Forsyth County, give people a better understanding of their elected officials, try to give folks that are representing us, whether that is at a small scale like town government or in the state or even the country, an opportunity for us to understand better who they are, what they're all about, ask questions of them that may be important for us to kind of get clarification on things. So it's been a great project for me. It's been going on for a couple of months now, and I've had a lot of fun doing it. Had a chance to meet a lot of people, other active citizens, elected officials, that sort of thing. And luckily, we've been growing every single week, and I'm very grateful for that. And I'm happy to have you along. Thank you so much for joining me. If you live in Forsyth County, if you live in any specific municipality like Clemmons or Louisville or Kernersville or Winston-Salem City, then this is the place for you to kind of get all the updates on what's happening within Forsyth County, the major updates and events to government, and kind of a better understanding of the people that are representing us here in the community. So if you have an issue that you want to bring up, if you have an issue you feel like we should talk about on the show, I'm more than happy to entertain that, do some research, and then report back on that issue for you. Also, if there's any elected official, or a community leader that you think you would want to hear from and you want to put me in touch, let me know. Or if you want to shoot me over their contact information, I'm happy to reach out as well. We also want to make this a little bit more than just politics. So I'm also inviting business leaders and small business owners in the community, people that serve Forsyth County, whether that is up here in Louisville or in one of the wards in Winston-Salem. If there's a nonprofit, if there's a business that wants to get a little bit more attention, then this is definitely a great platform for it. So I do have an invitation out to folks like that as well, if you want to come on and discuss some things in more of a long-form format. So with all of that being said, let's go ahead and jump into this week's episode. I'm going to start with Forsyth County. Obviously, a lot of changes, a lot of things that have come up in the last couple of weeks. We'll start with something that's happened pertaining to schools. That was one of my first episodes, was the school bus drivers strike that happened a couple of months back. And so Forsyth County has agreed to release $500,000 to help fund a 2% pay increase for Winston-Salem Forsyth County classified staff. That classified staff is teachers' assistants. They're receiving a 2% increase. The county, the school board did request an additional almost $2 million from the county to help fund additional increases. And this is something I've talked about a couple of different times. Education, in a large part, is funded by the state, and so if they are lacking funding, there a lot of times our state legislature is not giving them all of the resources that they are asking for, and that is an issue that trickles down to really anybody that has a kid in the school system. And so if you are interested in getting a little bit more into depth about this, I have an interview with Alan Daniels, a great citizen here in Winston-Salem, Forsyth County. He lives in Clemmons, actually. And he is very well informed about the inner workings of what's going on with the school board and the county school system. And so I feel free to go back and check out that episode. But the county and a lot of different municipalities within Forsyth County, they do supplement teacher pay. So it's not abnormal for the county to come in and kind of step up where the state is not funding our schools. But it is something that is always kind of talked about and argued about in legislature. And I don't have really a personal opinion on this. My daughter's not of school age just yet. So we're kind of on our own as far as like childcare and stuff like that. So I don't have an opinion on this one way or the other. It is nice to see that teacher assistants are getting a small bump in pay. 2% is, not a whole lot, but it's definitely something. So a step in the right direction, because our teachers here in North Carolina are not paid very well at all, and they definitely deserve to be. So that's Forsyth County Commissioners is if you're interested in the governing body that kind of helps out with a lot of pretty much everything in Forsyth County that doesn't fall to the even smaller local level like a city government or town government, village government, then it would be Forsyth County Commissioners, and they meet on Mondays. Also, property taxes. This is a hot topic right now. Property taxes in Forsyth County have gone up substantially. So I'm going to read a memo that was sent out by Forsyth County and kind of explain the process. The county is funded mainly by property taxes. Same with a lot of local governments. They're funded by a good amount of property tax, and so this is something that they do reappraisals every so often. And the housing market is kind of gone crazy as far as values of homes. That could be due to a lot of different factors, but inflation definitely plays a pretty big role. So that doesn't necessarily mean that it's gonna, you're gonna have to pay a lot more in property taxes all the time, because there is going to be a assessment to see if they need to raise or lower taxes. And if we have a massive increase in values and the tax rate stays the same, then it just means a lot more money for our Forsyth County government. And so I'm going to read this memo. It kind of talks about this a little bit, and also some of the very important dates. So if you want to get involved and have your voice be heard in the budget process when they start looking at the tax rates coming up, then this is going to be kind of your opportunity to do it. Property owners in Forsyth County have received their notice for the 2025 reappraisal, which is conducted every 4 years to adjust the values used for property taxes to reflect the current real estate market. Forsyth County, like many counties across the state, has seen historic increases in real estate prices in recent years, and the property values in the reappraisal reflect this. No joke. Our home went up over $100,000 in value, and I don't have $1 million home, so it's a pretty substantial increase. The reappraisal only determines taxable property values. It does not determine the tax paid on them. The increase in the value of property does not reflect how much taxes you will increase on that property. The county tax rate and the spending in the budget are determined by the Forsyth County Board of Commissioners. The county tax rate will be set by the county commissioners when they approve the 25-26 county budget for the summer. Elected officials for municipalities inside Forsyth County will also approve their budgets with their own property tax rates. That's right, because we don't pay taxes just to Forsyth County. We also pay taxes to where we live, like Clemmons or Louisville or Kernersville or Walkertown, Rural Hall, that sort of thing. Later this year, typically in June, elected officials for each taxing jurisdiction will determine budgetary needs and set the corresponding tax rates, said County Manager Chantel Robinson. While we do not yet know what those tax rates will be, Forsyth County has a history of lowering tax rates in response to a change in the real estate market. Once the tax rates are finalized, tax administration will issue tax bills for taxable properties. So here's the juice. Typically in the past, they have lowered tax rates to kind of compensate for a higher value. That is, unless they feel like their budget needs to expand substantially, which it would if they kept the rates the same with this increase in a property value. So here are the dates that you're going to want to pay attention to. Forsyth County has several meetings scheduled for the 25-26 budget process. Commissioners' budget workshops, March 10th and April 7th, starting at 9 a.m. The county manager will present a proposed budget during the May 8th commissioners' meeting at 2 p.m. Detailed budget presentation on May 15th, starting at 9. The budget public hearing, May 19th at 6. Budget workshop, May 22nd at 9. Budget workshops on May 29th and June 2nd, starting at 9 if needed. And a special meeting to possibly adopt the budget June 5th at 2 p.m. The new budget will go into effect July 1st. All of the budget meetings are held at Forsyth County Government Center, 201 North Chestnut Street in Winston-Salem. So if you want to look at information about the budget, current one and also past, you can always look at forsyth.cc/budget. Residents can check their own municipality to learn what the budget process is for them as well. The reappraisal notice property owners received, including information about the reappraisal process, how their property was calculated, including comparable tax real estate sales in the area. Anyone who believes the information used was incorrect can file an appeal using the form included with their notice. Residents with questions can also contact the tax office at 336-703-2300. And for more information, you can always visit forsyth.cc/tax/reevaluation. So that's that as far as the county is concerned. Obviously, there are other taxes that are going to be levied on properties from your local government, which was already mentioned in that letter. So feel free to get involved. I know a lot of people are going to want to have their voices heard at that public hearing, I am sure. But stay up to date, and I will do my best to keep you updated as well as far as that is concerned. All right. Moving down the list to the city of Winston-Salem. And before I get into this, the city of Winston-Salem, because they are recognizing Black History Month, obviously Black History Month is a fantastic way to celebrate our African-American communities here within Forsyth County and really across the United States. I personally would love to have somebody from the African-American community on the podcast. I've reached out to a couple of folks, still waiting to get somebody on to do an interview. But they play such a pivotal role in really everything. There's such a large segment of the population and such a unique, diverse culture. Really fantastic people, a lot of great history. I've always had really great experiences just interacting with that community across the board. And I would love to have some folks from that community on the podcast as well, just to, offer a different perspective, talk about the way these policies and politics affect that community specifically, I'm super interested in hearing from folks in that community. So if you have any resources, anybody that you want to connect me with, please feel free to do so. I personally have reached out to, like I said, a couple of people. I'm not going to name drop just in case, something ends up not working out down the line. So I won't mention anyone specifically, but I did want to just recognize the importance of that community, especially during Black History Month, and really just welcome anybody from that community to come on and kind of be a part of the discussion as well, because they're definitely a very important part of it. So the city of Winston-Salem, there is a couple of things that are going on. They do have a lot of different centers within Winston-Salem that are doing Black History Month education. So if you want to go and kind of jump in on one of those classes and kind of get educated on the contributions of that community here within our area, I would highly encourage you to do so. I'm going to try to make a couple of those myself, bring my daughter too. I think it would be a great, fantastic thing to kind of take part in. I have some scribble written down on my notepad here, so I'm not going to read it off because I probably can't even read it unless I really attempt it. But there are several centers within Winston-Salem that are hosting Black History Month education. I would just Google Forsyth County or Winston-Salem Black History Month education to kind of look up one near you if you want to take advantage of it. I know it's kind of midway through the month already, so apologies for not getting that out sooner. But if you want to take part in one of those, they are available. I know there's a couple that are running, a couple times a week and even every day. So you're welcome to Google that, look it up, and take part in some of those things as well. So that's good. Lastly, for Winston-Salem, there's an Art Contribution Walk of Fame nomination available. So if you're not familiar, the city is doing a Walk of Fame for the art community. And if you want to nominate someone that has had a major impact in terms of art within the city of Winston-Salem or just like in this general area, the nominations are open until the end of the month. So feel free to reach out and put that nomination in. I will announce the winner when it does become publicly available. I'm sure they'll mention it in one of their city council meetings, and we can talk a little bit about that person as well. So feel free to jump on that one. It's still available to participate. Moving on to Tobaccoville. Unfortunately, Tobaccoville doesn't post a lot of stuff online, so you have to go over there in person to get some information. So I wasn't able to do that, but they did do a quick update about their PARC. It's a park. Tobaccoville has a new, I'm not sure exactly what they call it, but it has a new community, not community center, but a new agricultural resource center. I think that's what it's called. That is in construction, and so updates of that are becoming available. I believe it's going to be open this year. So I'll look up and get some more information on that, and hopefully make it over to Tobaccoville and get some of the information from those minutes. If you live in Tobaccoville, or if you know somebody who lives in Tobaccoville that does go to the meetings, I'd love to get in contact with you just to kind of get a brief update on kind of what's going on within Tobaccoville. It's something that's hard to keep track of every single municipality within Forsyth. So if you know anybody that wants to lend a hand in that regard, I'm always looking for some help in that area. Moving on to Clemmons. Clemmons is looking for some assistance in their transportation plan. They're doing audits via volunteers. But if you are interested in participating, this is a very, very big update and project that Clemmons is undertaking. We're talking about the way streets are designed, public walking, bike paths, just all transportation needs. They're looking for feedback from people that live within Clemmons. So definitely get engaged there. If you have an intersection that you're concerned about, if you care that, there isn't as many bike lanes, or you feel like certain areas are not as safe as others, and you can see kind of issues happening, they need your input. So please, take part in that. Reach out to the town manager. There is several ways to do that. One thing that was mentioned in the Clemmons town meeting, the last meeting, was specifically the intersection of Peace Haven and Louisville Clemmons. There's only a crosswalk on two sides of that four-way intersection, which is kind of mind-blowing to me because that's such a busy area. Just overall, Forsyth County is really not a walkable area. There are several neighborhoods that are very walkable. They have sidewalks, they have, adequate crosswalks and all of that kind of stuff. But just in general, that's one thing that I wish we could improve on, is just making our area more easily navigated without the need of a car, because not everybody has a car and not everybody wants to be in their car all the time. It would be nice to be able to walk, certain places, or ride a bike certain places, or I can bust out my skateboard, which would be even more ideal, but it's like really dangerous to do around here. Yeah, I know it's a little bit of a tangent, but it's something I've always thought about living out here. I wish we could do a better job in that. So let's move on to Kernersville. Kernersville is hiring another full-time employee for their botanical gardens. If you haven't been to the botanical gardens in Kernersville, that's a really beautiful area. They have espalier trees. They have a lot of really unique plants over there. It's a really beautiful place. They also have an event center that's like right there, right in the middle of the gardens. It's pretty darn cool. So Kernersville, if you are interested in jumping on to the botanical gardens, I know we just had an interview with Ryan Eaton from Wild Ones. So if there's any Wild Ones folks that are interested in helping out at the botanical gardens, they are looking for another full-time employee, and of course volunteers as well. But it looks like they're going to be hiring one. And then lastly, they renewed their contract, or signed a new contract with their town attorney for the next year. If you're interested to know what a town attorney makes for a town like Kernersville, it's $150,000 a year, $151,000 to be exact. And I'm sure that they do a lot more than just work for the town, but $150K. There you go. So now that I don't know if that's normal for a lawyer. I tend to think they make a lot more than that, so maybe that's a good deal. Probably because it's not their only client, but yeah, $150,000. The last municipality I want to talk about is Rural Hall. So Rural Hall is a quite a special one. There's a young lady by the name of Carol Newsom that owns a fantastic Facebook group called the Independent Hall Monitor, and she does a really great job just kind of keeping everybody in check over there. Rural Hall is every time I look at the meeting, or I scroll on her Facebook page, there's always some shenanigans going on. It's kind of wild. But yeah, the mayor apparently is just not doing a fantastic job. And there was a very interesting meeting. I watched a brief section of it. I'm going to try to watch the rest of it. Definitely worth a watch if you have not done that. I believe February 10th is when she posted it. Yeah, so I'm gonna try to get Carol on again, but there's a big vote that just kind of took place, and I'm just going to mention they're eliminating the agenda briefings. So it's basically an attempt to silence public discourse. Carol has kind of been a thorn in the side of the corrupt elected officials, and the fact that she's caused them to specifically be like, we need to make it harder for her to, share the information that she does online, and, get the information that she's been asking for. And it's really kind of terrible that that's the case. But Rural Hall is, it's one of those municipalities that is on the edge, it's on the edge of the county. It's surrounded by a lot of smaller municipalities, like some parts of Tobaccoville, county-owned property. From the annexation that we talked about, that was another thing that kind of was taking place just a little while ago. To this, I mean, it just seems like every time we check in with Rural Hall, there's something going on. So very interesting. And I don't know if they feel like, we're a smaller municipality, maybe we can fly under the radar, but kudos to people like Carol for making, these type of events more publicly known and available. I certainly want to have more conversations with Carol and bring her on in the future. She's agreed to do that. And I think it's always a good time because she's such an active citizen within local politics, and knows really the pulse of what's happening in that side of Forsyth County. So had to mention that. That is going to be it for me this episode. This was a quick one. Really, not having an interview does make this a little bit quicker. A lot of zoning petitions, that sort of thing, that end up happening in these meetings. But I wanted to kind of hit on some of the highlights for the last couple of weeks, kind of keep everybody up to speed. And I will be bringing another interview next week. I'm interviewing the mayor of Bethania. Bethania is a fantastic spot. If you have not gone out there, it's a beautiful area, very historic. It's a small little hidden gem within our county, and I'm excited to talk to the mayor of Bethania next week. And that'll be more of a longer discussion. This was more of a quick update. But I hope you all do really well this week. I hope you're having a fantastic start to your 2025. And I am looking forward to talking with you on the next episode. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.